Good morning. It is another day on AB squared. We are back in business. So, what are we going to talk about today? I am awake. I finished my commute. I've had some coffee, a little bit of breakfast. So, what are we going to discuss? Well, as you know, one of the things I like is escaping dogma, seeking truth, overcoming despair. Those are kind of the main themes of stuff that I've been approaching lately. And along with that vein, I listened to a video this morning. Oh, excuse me. So I was listening to Remnant Radio. They were a YouTube channel and a radio station. They claim to challenge orthodoxy within the Christian religion, and they claim to seek truth as well, right? There's a lot of people out there who claim to seek truth, and it's really kind of crazy. But all they do is they seek information to confirm their biases, to confirm their presuppositions. And so they had this guy, Mike Weisner, on. He's a theologian and apologetics kind of guy. And they were talking about the episode was called "The God of the Old Testament, Is He Evil?" Is he? Is he? And one of the key things they did, oh, that's beautiful, a little hummingbird. One of the key things they did was they spent the whole time not addressing that question, which I thought was hilarious. They spent the whole time justifying different ways you can interpret supposedly evil sounding passages in the Old Testament to mean something that was less evil, basically. For example, from the video, they were talking about when God told them to wipe out all the group of people, utterly of a specific group of people in Canaan. They would say it was like, well, that's like a figure of speech. That means they just defeated the army. And it's like, yeah, but he's saying wipe out every man, woman, and child. He's like, well, it doesn't quite mean that. But the main root of his argument was, you can't judge God. God is the ultimate moral foundation and basis for which all morals come from, and therefore you cannot judge the actions of God to be moral or immoral. All actions God does are moral. Basically the same answer God gave Job in chapter 37 to 40. That's a category error. Like, if you can't judge good from evil, if you can't discern right from wrong, and you have to assume that an external standard is the good and evil, is the right from wrong, then that external standard, even if it violates the internal compass that you've been given, it doesn't matter, it's still right. And that was kind of what he discussed in the videos. He said, we have to believe that God is right, even if he kills babies, even if he kills people. He has a reason, and he's above questioning, basically. And I call BS. I'm just calling it. When evil is done, it is evil. Whether it's done by the deity, the arbiter of good himself. And God is clearly in the Old Testament, clearly in the whole Bible, there's two major crimes. Absolute, unquestionable crimes. Then there's two major events that are ridiculous, that I've spent 25 years of my life here on earth whilst being raised in Christianity trying to figure out and explain these four things. First, Adam. When he killed Adam. So Adam's an immortal being. Live forever. Sin only entered the world. People say through Satan, through Adam, through the fall. No, sin only entered the world because God made a law. That's it. It covers that in Romans. It says, without the law, there is no sin. So God sets up a law by which Adam will fall. He knows. Then he orchestrates the means for Adam to fall via kicking Satan out, allowing Satan to even enter the garden in the first place, allowing Eve to be tempted in the first place. This is what he does. So Adam falls. God kills him. He says, you will die. So now God introduces the concept of death. So he kills Adam. for basically gaining knowledge. Then the second major crime is when he kills Jesus, his son. It says it pleased the Lord to kill his son. It's like, I know there's redemption and propitiation, and they try to put in all these doctrines about how that forgives sins through the death of Christ, but it still doesn't excuse the fact that the blood of his son is on his hands. No one wants to address that point. In all Christianity, it's like, he killed his son. Yeah, he died, and he took on the sins, and he stepped in for the punishment for other people, and yeah, it's some kind of working of grace, and it shows how much God hates sin but loves mankind, that he would kill his own son. It's like, but he killed his son, who was innocent. Well, his son volunteered to take the payment. It doesn't matter. Even if he took the payment of everyone else, God still killed the innocent son, who was innocent. That's not a sin? That's not a crime? He slew the only innocent person in all the universe. So there's those two problems. Introducing death, and then inflicting that death upon the only truly innocent person in all of existence. Supposedly, according to scriptures. The other two events that really were crazy, well, three, but two major ones. Job is one that I always didn't like, the book of Job. It's just complete nonsense, but that'll be for another day. The two events are the Tower of Babel and the flood. Not in that order, because they happen in reverse order. So the flood, right? You can get around the verses in the Old Testament where it says they wiped out every man, woman, and child in the wars in Canaan, because it's a tense of speech, you know. It's a way of speaking. Yeah, they just destroyed the army. They destroyed barracks. They wiped out the people. You know, it's not real. They didn't really kill every man, woman, child, and sheep. But then you get to the flood, and it's like, God saw that there was evil in man's heart just continually. I'm like, even in the unborn babies? And even if you take like Rob Skiba's view, where it's like, there's bloodlines and the Nephilim, and there's evil, polluted, toxic creatures living on Earth, and they're human hybrids, and it just corrupts the soul, and it changes the DNA. It's like, even if you take any which view, and if you want a crazy view, go look up Rob Skiba's view. It's actually really cool. It involves Nephilim coming down, and angels, and lizard men. It's a fun view. It's really cool. It's definitely like good work for a sci-fi. I think he's doing a sci-fi thing coming out in the future called Seed. Don't know, maybe it'll be cool. But regardless of any of that, God sees that every baby, every unborn baby, even every baby that hasn't been born yet, it's every man, woman, and child, he floods them all. Kills them all except for like 8 people in a boat. And that's okay. Well, God saw it was evil and it was sin, and God is righteous and he must punish. And it's like, yeah, but now he's kind of being like Zeus, you know. He's kind of being like all these other gods, where it's just like he's capricious and he sees the evils of man and he wishes to punish and exact his vengeance. And it's like, he couldn't redeem any of them. He couldn't come down himself and be like, yo, your genes are messed up, your genes are all polluted and whatnot, your hearts are always evil, let me help you out, okay? So the flood, it's a complete ridiculous story. I think it's kind of cool. I liked how it happened. Great movies are made about it. It's cool. But it's wrong. It's morally wrong. But
according to Mike Wisner, we cannot question. We cannot question. Do you deny that we cannot question the sovereignty of God's holiness? No, Lord, smite that baby.
It's like, no. The next thing. Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel. This is what bothered me. So it says in the New Testament and other places, God is not the author of confusion. God is not a God of chaos, but a God of order. But the whole thing of the Tower of Babel is mankind was in order. Mankind had created a tower. Some people say the foundation of this tower was 200 square miles. This tower went up taller than Mount Everest. It was going to reach out of the firmament and enter into heaven. And yes, mankind was like, we will make war with God.
And now we shall smite Olympus and bring down the Jehovah. Yohevahe, we are coming for you.
But what does God do? He doesn't like open up the sky and be like, yo, you guys found me. Hey, come on, let's talk this out. Let me teach you some things because this is messed up. No, he goes, now nothing will be restrained from them. They can do all things. Let's go confuse their language. And by confusing their language, he separated all mankind, caused division, and endless war for the next 8,000 years of recorded human history, and causing people to slay each other. That Supposedly at that point they were all related. They were all, friends and family, which
Weird.
but it's like he caused all that chaos because they made a tower? Because they were coming into heaven? Well, they were trying to make war with God. The pride, the arrogance. It's like, but you were hidden. They were like trying to get out. They were trying to find you. And you're like,
Well, I sent a messenger once every like 400 years, and there's one guy, and there's like millions of people, so
their fault for not listening to me. It's like, you could have done a little bit more. Like, say, hi, I am God. I made you. Let's figure this out. So anyway, I'm trying to keep these videos short, but those are the 4 major things. Killing of Adam. Killing of Christ, the only innocent person. The flooding of the whole earth, if the story is to believe the way it's told. And the mixing up of the Tower of Babel. Another huge category thing is the Book of Job. And I did a whole study where I met with pastors, theologians, I met with group leaders, I met with other Christians, and I was like, guys, explain this Book of Job. Let's work through it. We did a whole study through the whole book. And they all concluded at the end, where God's like,
I am God, do not question me. I am powerful, therefore do not question me. I had a bet with Satan, so do not question me. I am powerful, therefore do not question me,
is an answer to why he would knowingly inflict such torment, torture, death, and despair and destruction, all things that are pretty much byproducts of sin, pretty much evil. Allow them, permit them, even order them to be carried out on someone he himself deemed to be innocent, holy, perfect. And it's like, okay. So, those 4 things, and 5th if we count Job, are major flaws that where it's like, the only way out, Mike Wisner, for things like this, and he didn't address all these, so I'm not going to put words in his mouth if this gets out there, whatever. His category error is, we cannot question God. Just like in the Book of Job, you cannot question God. And it's like, that's not a satisfactory answer. That's not an actual answer. Job, where like the whole book he's pleading with them to be like, hey, show yourself, reason with me, show yourself, give an account. Hey, and then he comes down, he's like,
I'm God, I will not be questioned, peasant.
That's not okay. That's not moral. And here they go, well, how do you decide what's moral? You can't be an arbiter of right and wrong. Where do you get your morals from? It's like, the real God, wherever he is, wrote them on our hearts. We all know what's right and wrong. We all know that instinctively is wrong. That's not okay behavior. But because their theology can't permit that, they then try to reason it away. And anyway, this is what I'm saying. The whole point of this whole little tirade and rant, and if you made it through this, it's to point out that we need to seek objective truth. Not just these doctrines and dogmas. These are our stories, and they're good. It's a good book. It tells a lot of good morals. It helps give you some guidance. Hey, it saved a people in a desert and kept them alive for thousands of years. So much so that they thought they were the
chosen people, if you know what I mean.
But we need to seek objective truth and throw off these dogmas. We cannot believe something is true based off the authority of someone just stating it's true. Based off, whatever they think, their reasonings or whatever. It's like, that's not true. Is it objective? Is it observable? Does it not change over time?
But Jeremiah! But Bigot! You derived that from the Bible. You got that, and we've talked with you, and you got that from...
Yeah. You could also distill it many other ways. But that is the foundational standard by which you can understand a starting point for truth. Anyway, this has been AB Squared, Alleged Bored Bigots. Everyone needs objective truth, even if they only have subjective truth. And all religions have subjective truth. There's elements in them that are true. There's a lot in them that's nonsense. Every religion, Islam, Muhammad, peace be upon him, all of them have certain things. Islam, they're like,
usury is bad. Very, 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 very bad. No usury.
And it's like, base, man, that's good. I feel you. I get what you saying. Buddha's like, I don't know, I don't know much about Buddhism. I don't study too many of the other ones. I'm looking into some stuff right now. But the moral of the story, go out and get objective truth. And question your presuppositions. Remnant Radio does not question their doctrines, does not challenge their dogmas. They give their confessions, they follow their creeds, and they obey them to the letter. They doom everyone else to be anathema heretics, which means, they'll be damned. And they allow no critical thinking, no questioning. Anyway, we'll tune in next time to see what I listen to on tomorrow's commute. I am now making these in the morning, which is kind of fun. I like them. I'm more awake in the morning for some reason. Not drained from work. So we'll see. I'm going to try to post these the following day in the morning. I've got one coming out today. Uploaded it last night, so we'll see how that works. And, so celebration thing. I'm going to try to start doing some grateful confessions, announcements of things I'm grateful for, I guess, on this. Marriage is still going great. Kind of losing weight, trying to figure out what the heck gluten is. That's new. Piano's going fun. Still trying to learn some chords and figure out how to get hands together. Guitar's taking a back seat. I've got to pick it back up again. That's about it. That's all the updates for today. Anyway, get out of here. Have a great day on this Tuesday.